So, as all of you are aware, the interim budget for fiscal year 24-25 was presented by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in the Parliament on the first day of the budget session. And in that, of course, there are several interesting aspects which will be debated, discussed, reported on threadbare. But what I am interested here and what I am bringing to you is basically the defense budget and the highlights in the defense budget for the three armed forces, or of course the Indian Coast Guard, which is also part of the Ministry of Defense. So let's look at what's the defense budget looking like as far as 24-25 interim budget is concerned. The capital budget has increased in the defense budget, interim defense budget. The overall increase in the defense budget is about 5% or little less than 5%. But the capital budget has increased by 27% from what it was in the previous fiscal year or the current fiscal year, which is ongoing. The actual allocation in terms of money is about 1.72 lakh crore for purchase of new equipment. When they say capital budget, it is for new equipment, new platforms, and new capability enhancement that the armed forces want to do. And that capital budget for the coming fiscal year is 20% higher than what it was in the current fiscal year, which is going to end on March 31st, which is an interesting and very heartening thing to notice or note for the Indian Armed Forces. These funds allocated, the 23 or 20.33% higher funds allocated for new purchases, would probably include many lethal weapons, some missiles, fighter aircraft, with the Air Force wants very badly. Its fighter strength is depleting very quickly. There are ships, submarines, unmanned aerial vehicles, which is now the major purchase for the three forces, and some specialist vehicles which could be purchased under this fund. Interestingly, despite all the welfare measures that the government takes and the approach of the Modi government to reach as much welfare to as many people in India possible, the Ministry of Defence continues to get the maximum share of the union budget every year. This year it is about 13% of the union budget, and other ministries come much later, whether it's health, environment, foreign ministry, home ministry, all of them get much less than what the defense ministry gets, so which is a good sign that India continues to focus on its defense capability build-up. Other major expenses that have been allocated funds for in the budget, the overall budget, as I said, 20% or 27% for capital or the new purchases, 30% for pay and allowances of the serving members of the armed forces, 23% for pensions. Nearly 32 lakh pensioners get pension from the Ministry of Defence, and they will continue to get that. And that allocation is quite high in the priority of the government. And 15% for revenue or recurring expenditure to maintain the existing equipment, to have ammunition, and to maintain the preparedness, defense preparedness for the three armed forces or the four armed forces, including the Coast Guard. The most significant part of the budget is, of course, that border roads and infrastructure continues to get higher allocation year after year since the past 5 to 7 years. And it has been focused on enhancing the infrastructure and roads and tunnels and bridges on the China border. In fact, if you are watching Strat News Global, our sister channel, and some of the interviews that our team has been doing and as the reporting that is happening from Ladakh, you would have noticed new roads coming up, new tunnels coming up to enhance connectivity and to make it all weather round. So the allocation for the Border Roads Organization is 6,500 crores, which is 30% higher than what it was in the current financial year, which is something very heartening. And the key projects under the new or the fresh funding or the ongoing projects that will get funded is the Neoma airfield at 13,700 feet in Ladakh, not very far from Leh, which will enhance the capability of the Indian Air Force. The permanent bridge connectivity to the southernmost panchayat in Andaman Nicobar Island. So, from the Himalayas to the Indian Ocean or to the Bay of Bengal is something that the border roads continue to work and continue to get priority. The Shinkulla tunnel, through which our team has recently travelled on the NPD road or the Nimu Padam Darsha road, where the tunnel is going to come up, which is nearly 4.5 kilometers long, will be one priority project. And the Nechifu tunnel, which is almost ready, and the other tunnels and connectivity projects in Arunachal Pradesh will get funded through this fund for the border roads. And finally, just want to talk about innovation and research and development in defence, which has been emphasized through the allocation of focused funds. So there is a 1 lakh crore corpus for deep technology for long term, which some of the youths or the young people and some small startups and innovative firms are undertaking. They will get long-term loans under this corpus and at concessional rates. And deep tech, mind you, includes quantum computing, artificial intelligence and machine learning, clean tech, biotech, advanced materials. The spelling is wrong here, but of course, advanced materials, drones and robotics for utilization or use by the Indian Armed Forces will get a boost, a leg up because of this corpus that has been created or has been allocated in the defense budget. DRDO, the Defence Research and Development Organization, which you are aware is under scrutiny because of the report prepared by a committee which went into the possibility of a revamp and a restructuring of the DRDO, continues to get almost the same amount, maybe 600 crores extra in its research and development budget for the coming year as compared to the current fiscal year. Of this allocation to the DRDO, 13,000 crores will be for new projects or new platforms which the DRDO works with the industry under a scheme called DCPP, Development Cum Production Partners. So the DRDO creates technology or develops technology, sometimes with private players, sometimes on its own, and then transfers and handholds the private players through this. So this will financially strengthen the DRDO developing new technology with special focus on fundamental research and handholding of the private companies is what the government is hoping through this fund that has been created. And finally, the Technology Development Fund continues to get some substantial sum meant for grants to innovative startups, researchers and academia, which can attract the young talent in doing future technologies or technologies which are not available elsewhere. So that way, it's been a balanced budget, good allocation for capital expenditure, which is new purchases, enough to sustain the current platforms and current requirements of the armed forces, and of course, for research and development of new platforms through DRDO and private sector, so that both can work towards one goal of making India self-reliant or Aatmanirbharta in defense. That's the sum and substance of the defense budget, which is part of the annual budget present or interim budget presented by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. I am Nitin Gokhale.